What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Phil Sarpong. Welcome back to Phil's Guide to Psy.D. This channel is dedicated to all things clinical psychology. So if you are a clinical psychology student, or whether you are applying to clinical psychology, or even if you're just interested in all things clinical psychology, that's what this channel is for. Today we're going to be talking about a very special topic, and that's choosing between clinical psychology schools. So if you've already gone through the application and you've heard back from the schools and you've been accepted by multiple schools, you may be trying to figure out what school to go to and what school to pick. Now, obviously there's different factors between people picking schools. It could be location, it could be tuition, it could be the specific program that school offers. But let's say all things evened out, you have two schools that are very, very similar. Location's about the same, tuition's about the same. They both have the program that you want to go into. They both have the research labs that you're looking into. You already applied there, you interviewed there, you liked both schools in terms of their faculty members and the staff and the potential people that you're going to be with in those cohorts. And so the real question is, if there's two schools that are very similar in terms of just from the outside perspective, then what schools should you pick? And in this video, I'm going to show you guys a trick that I think will be able to help you guys think very objectively about the schools that have offered you an acceptance and where you should go from there. Now, here's the thing, guys. Every school is required to post their program statistics in terms of the outcome data of their school on their website, okay? So in every clinical psychology school, you're gonna see on their website, they're gonna have these data sets where it's gonna talk about the students, it's gonna talk about how many people they accept into their program, it's gonna talk about the internships, it's gonna talk about all these different things. And on their website, you should compare three very, very important things. Number one, the attrition rate, the number of students that have come into the program and the number of students that are leaving with the degree. Number two is going to be the internship rates. All right, so how many students in each cohort are actually getting an internship after their 4-year program degree. And then the last thing is going to be finally licensure, right? Percentage rate of how many students that have graduated from the program are actually licensed clinical psychologists, okay? Again, every program should have this on their website. If you can have these two schools or multiple schools and compare this data, the attrition rate, the internship, and the licensure, you will have a fairly good grasp objectively about what school might be right for you. Now, I'm actually going to take you guys through this process. We're going to look at two clinical psychology schools. Again, we're going to look at the attrition rate, we're going to look at the licensure, and we're going to look at the internship, okay? So, without further ado, let's get it started. All right, guys, let me take you guys through what we got going on. So, as you can see, we are on a clinical psychology page. You can see the data here. We have the outcome, we have the total number of students in the doctoral degree, and then we have if they're going to graduate in 5, 6, 7, or more than 7 years, okay? As I said before, usually most of the data is going to be about 10 years. So we have 2010 to 2020. If we look at 2019 to 2020, we see that this program brought in 18 students, all right, 18 people in the cohort. Average number of years to complete the program that they had was 5.3. And then the median number of years to complete the program was 5. So that's actually pretty good. So here's what we had. So we had 13 students that finished in 5 years. And then again, remember it was 18. So we still have 5 students left. 4 finished in 6 years, and then 1 finished in 7 years, okay? So that's pretty good, all right? So now, let's go through the 3 things that we talked about, okay? The attrition, the internship, and then lastly, the licensure, okay? So if we go down here, we'll actually look at the internship first. So if you can see, this school actually is doing pretty good with their internship. They had 21 students, and 21 students got internships. So that's 100% here for 2018 to 19, 93% for 2018. But otherwise, they have been pretty consistent up to about 2014 was probably one of their lowest. But that's not bad, okay? So that's pretty good. So we know that they're, at least the last 5 years, that they've been doing a pretty good job of their internships, okay? Now let's look at the attrition, which in my opinion is the most important thing, okay? So 2019 and 2020, they had 24 students that got into the program, if we look down here, we see the students no longer enrolled for any reason other than conferral of doctorate degree. Now, obviously, they're not going to tell you the specific reason why these students left, but we do see 2 students that did leave the program, okay? 2018 and 2019, we had 19 people still enrolled in the program. 7 left, okay? Now, this could be, again, for a number of different reasons. Maybe they figured out that clinical psychology wasn't for them. Maybe they felt like it was too difficult. Maybe they wanted to do something else for health reasons, family reasons, personal reasons. It could be anything, right? But if we do look at the trend, we do see that there is a consistent number of students that have left the program for a number of different reasons. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. And then last but not least, we have the licensure, okay? So 89% licensure percentage. Anywhere that you can get a program that's 90 or above, that's fairly good in terms of what faculty members, what staff members have said from other different programs. Alrighty, let's look at the next school. So the next school that we got, again, you have the outcome, you have the time it takes in terms to complete the degree, 5, 6, or 7 or more years. So these guys, as you can see, they're a substantially smaller amount. They're bringing in 6, less than 10 students into their cohort. So much less, but as we can see, it takes them about 5 years to complete the program, which is good. Most clinical psychology programs are going to be 5 years. And so we have one person that actually finished in less than 5 years. That's very impressive. And then the rest finished in 5 years, okay? So all in all, the 6 students that they brought in, the 6 students that they finished, okay? If we look into in terms of 2018 to 2019, we had 8 students. 2 finished early, 5, and then 1 finished a little bit later, okay? 10 students came in. So we do have a good number of students that are coming in and completing the program, which is great. All right, now how about these internships? Okay, so as you can see, we have 7 students, again, that came in, and 8 students that ended up getting an internship. Now, this is here's a star right here. 1 person got an internship, but it wasn't APA accredited. Okay, so that's interesting. Again, we have 9 students that got APA internships, 1 student that did not get an APA accredited internship. But otherwise, we do see the students are getting consistent internships across the board. So that's definitely a huge plus, okay? Now, the attrition, this is what I really wanted to look at. So the attrition, remember that other program seemed to have a good number of students that were not completing the program. Here we have 12 students, 11 that were still enrolled in the program, 1 left, okay? Here we have 12 students, 2018 and 2019, 0 left. Here, only 1 left. Here, 2 left. So these guys, the past 5 years, have actually been fairly consistent. And I think this is actually normal for most schools. Most schools, for the attrition rate, they're going to get a number of students, and maybe 1 or 2 will leave the program for a number of different reasons. But as long as they are completing the program, I think that's a plus. You know, if you have students that are taking their time, 7, 8 years, even though it's a long time, at least they are completing the program. You don't want to be in a school that has a lot of people that come into the program that end up not finishing the program. Either there's something wrong with the people, or there might be something wrong with the school, right? And so these guys have a pretty good attrition rate. They have a pretty good internship rate. And then last of all, wow, 93% in terms of the licensure. So this is a pretty good school in terms of the licensure, in terms of the attrition, the number of students that are coming in, that are finishing out. Even though it may take them more than 5 years to finish out, they're still finishing. And again, like I said, you know, attrition, internship, and licensure, those are probably the 3 biggest things, especially if you're looking at schools that have about the same program costs and things like that. All right, guys, that's it. That's my number 1 trick, all right? The thing is to look through the attrition, the internship, and the licensure. If you can go through all those 3 things and basically use it to compare the schools objectively, you should be able to figure out, okay, basically which school really is the better school, right? Because based on those percentages, that might be the best option for you, especially if overall on the outside, all the schools are pretty even anyways. Now, I'll say it again, for the attrition, it is normal for every program, every cohort to lose maybe 1 or 2 students over the course of the 4 or 5 years. But if you do start to see a consistent number, right, that's 3, 4, 5, maybe 30 to 40% of their students that somehow don't complete the program at all, then that might be something to look into. That might be something to email the faculty members or email a student that's already in the program and try and figure that out, because I think that's normal. It's normal for maybe 1 or 2 students based on health reasons or based on job or family or stress or whatever it is. But if more than 30% of the students are not even completing the program, is there something wrong with the students, or is there something wrong with the program? And I think that's what you need to do to investigate, to figure that out. You're also gonna see on this data set, and for me it was kind of stressful, but you are gonna see that there are gonna be some students that graduate in 6, 7 or more years. For me, I felt kind of stressed out about that, because honestly for me, I'm not really trying to waste any time. I'm trying to go in, do the work and get out. But it shouldn't derail you from choosing the school. In fact, as long as they're taking all the students through, I think that's the most important part. Even if there's some students, again, that end up finishing 6 or 7, 8 years, that's okay, because at the end of the day, life happens, okay? And so maybe life happened to those people where they had to take the extra time. In fact, it actually speaks to the program that they're willing to be patient with those people, help them through, and they care more about them completing the program than actually finishing within 5 years, okay? So again, if you see that consistently for a lot of schools, that is perfectly okay. It's a normal thing. All right, guys, so that basically sums it up. If you guys have any questions, definitely message me down below. Give this video a thumbs up if it gave you some helpful information, and subscribe to the channel. Every 2 weeks, I post these videos for clinical psychology. So if you have anything that you want me to talk about, definitely message me down below and I will get to it. With that, I'll see you guys in the next video.